Is it a bird? Is it a plane?
No, it's Mannimal.
Now if you listen carefully, that's almost the sound of spring, isn't it? Almost. And we've come inland a little bit on, yes, it is a glorious day today. And I know at this time of the year it's up and down a bit. And I'm the first in the queue for cursing and swearing when we have the wet and windy days, which I have absolutely no doubt, probably by the time this goes out, it'll be wet and windy. But here we are on a proper spring day. Blue sky, hardly a breath of wind. You can hear the birds. You can even see some of the midges and gnats in the air and the sunshine here and there. And as we're walking along the little track at the back of the rag, we're seeing the celandines out as well, and just come out for a little paddle with Dawn, because we thought, being March, perhaps we should just have a quick look. It's that time of year when you're thinking Mad March hares. We'll see. There certainly have been. I was talking to someone the other day who saw one, but you seen any hares this year yet or not? We're just going past and thought we'd seen one, but almost certainly a rabbit. Plenty of rabbits around.
There certainly are, but I haven't seen any hares, I have to be honest, this year. But I'm still hopeful, because it's still that time of year where they're coming out, and you'll certainly see them out in the fields and up on the mountains as well.
And this is it, because I think we have the mountain hares, of course, and then lower down you have the brown hares, I think.
That's right, yes. We've got the mountain hares, which are actually a blue hare, and they come across from Ireland. They were reintroduced onto the island about in the 1950s and 60s for gaming purposes, and they're definitely from the Irish breed of mountain hares. What that means is in winter they won't go completely white, they tend to go a bit patchy, and the belly fur has a slightly bluish look to it as well.
Hence the name. I was going to say, you wouldn't think of them being blue, but they don't go sort of that pure white that some of them do.
No, they don't. These won't do. The mountain hares up in Scotland will go completely white, but like I said, ours are related to the Irish ones, which is probably fortunate for them given the fact that we've not been having that amount of snow around. And unfortunately, that's part of a problem for them, because they stand out like a sore thumb really on the mountainside and easy prey for the predators.
That's the problem, isn't it? Yes, I know we've seen it before, I think, on this programme, and I'm sure quite a few listening probably seen it yourselves if you've been lucky enough to see them in the winter. And yeah, a lot of white on them, and they're probably in a background which isn't white at all.
Yes, exactly, yes, yeah.
Which makes it not such a good a disguise as it might be, but who knows, if global warming and sort of natural selection, maybe they will become less and less white if they carry on for generation upon generation. And then the brown hares, they're sort of more sort of lowland areas, aren't they, sort of lower down?
They are, basically from the Central Valley down, and that's where we're getting the brown hares. They're also known as the European hares. They are bigger than the mountain hares, and their ears are slightly bigger, but I always think that's quite difficult when you say compare one hare to another, because they never conveniently park themselves alongside each other, unfortunately. No. I think the biggest thing though to tell the difference between a hare and a rabbit is a hare tends to, when it's moving along, has sort of like, you can see daylight through it. It's very more rangy, its legs are longer.
Yeah.
So you can tell the difference that way. And then they don't seem to be as compact. Whereas when you look at a rabbit, it's when you see that whole form, it's very rounded.
Yes, and there seems to be, we were just saying, there seems to be plenty of rabbits around this. Yeah, like I said, I haven't seen a hare myself. I was talking to a friend the other day who said she had seen, I think, a brown hare, I assume it was, only the other day around the St John's area, I think it would be. But rabbits, well, certainly my garden's overrun with rabbits at the moment.
Yes, there do seem to be a lot of them about. The population does go up and down, obviously, with mixed mitosis. But it does seem to be quite stable. And it's the same for our hare population. We're very lucky here. But in places like Scotland, since 1995, they've lost 43% of their mountain hares. So it's something I think people should be aware of. We're very, very lucky here, like I said, to have all these hares, but certainly in East Anglia, they're losing an awful lot of them. They've lost 80% of the population over 100 years.
That's a huge amount, isn't it? Huge amount.
Yeah.
And I was saying Mad March hares, and of course you think of them doing this sort of boxing and these weird antics, which is all linked in with the breeding and courtmanship showing off. I've never actually seen that. Have you been lucky enough to see that? I can't put my hand on my heart and say I have.
I have. I've been very, very lucky, and it really is. They really do mean it when they're going at it. I mean, there's fur flying, and you can actually hear them making contact with each other. But what it usually is, it's actually a female trying to get the male away. It's unwanted attention, really. It's a bit like an evening out at Douglas, really.
No answer to that. So we're just walking up, like I said. We'll see if we can see anything. It's hit and miss with these sort of things. No guarantee, but we'll paddle on a little bit further up here, see if we can spot anything, and keep our fingers crossed. It's glorious, isn't it? Yes, we've come down quite a bit further down the track, and despite binoculars, despite scanning the horizon, scanning the fields to one side or another, sure enough, if you want to make sure that you're not going to have a walk which is going to be spoilt by spotting wildlife, bring a microphone with you, and I can almost guarantee you'll see nothing at all, with the exception of frogs. We're good with frogs. But that's the way it goes, isn't it? It's even David Attenborough doesn't find his quarry all the time. Suffice to say, it is a good time. They are out and about, so the main thing is, of course, keeping your eyes peeled if you're out having a walk, whether that be on the highlands or lowlands. It's the sort of time to keep your eyes open and see if you can spot one, because they are out. And if you're really lucky, you might see a bit of the great Mad March behaviour we were talking about earlier on, because I'm yet to see that. So I'll be keeping my eyes peeled, because it's on the tick list again. And it's been a few years. I've seen the hares, I've seen brown hares, I've seen mountain hares, I've seen the different colours. I've been up in the mountains, I've been down. Never seen the boxing and such like. So it's on the list.
It's definitely this time of year that it'll happen. So don't give in. Keep going out there. Obviously, fields are really good in the lowland to go and have a look. The best way to get your eye in is to run your eye along the hedgerow and have a little look. And because they don't make burrows, they just lie in forms, you should see just like the little hump shape to them. Obviously, at this time of year, they are a bit more bold and they're a bit more other things are occupying their mind, to put it politely.
Absolutely.
So they're out and about in the open more than you would expect. The mountain hares are crepuscular, so that is dusk and dawn,
word.
obviously.
Good word,
yes,
I
I
like
know.
that.
I like saying that as well.
You
Yes.
slipped that in very
Yes,
quietly.
yeah. The brown hares actually are more nocturnal, but this time of year, obviously, when they're mating, they're out in the fore really, and like I said, I think it's the fact that other things are on their mind. So.
And you're right about, I think it's getting your eye in is so often a case if you're out nature spotting and watching things, anything from mushrooms to birds to wildflowers to hares in this case. Sometimes if you're just sort of looking around, not really paying attention, not sort of, as you say, getting your eye in, you just sometimes need to see one of whatever your quarry is, be it mushroom or hare, and suddenly you'll then sometimes see two or three in quite quick succession.
Exactly, yes. And I think the other thing is not to keep moving on, but to actually stand and just really absorb what's around and keep running your eyes over. And often it's just the shape, the outline. All of a sudden you'll think, oh, that wasn't a leaf, that's actually moved. Oh, I think it might be an ear. And that's how you start homing in really on them.
Absolutely. Well, we're going to head back towards the car, and you never know, because as is often the case sometimes, once you've given up looking, that's when you spot them.